appreciation for both teams, Red Tigers and Lyon.
This game between 10 Tigers on my left, Lyon on my right. We ask audience, please keep quiet on the ball and play and switch off your mobile phones. Thank you. 10 Tigers start with the ball. Quiet, please. Center. Take.
Welcome back to live coverage here of the EGCA Champions League. It is game number 8. And it is Fen Tigers taking on Lyon hosts Fen Tigers. So Fen Tigers throwing from right to left in the orange shirts with the black stripes, with Lyon in their maroon tops, throwing from left to right. And it is a family affair from the get-go for Fen Tigers. We have Dom, we have Joe, and we have Dan, all on the court. Lyon lining up with Felix Vargas, Buelia, and Thomas Martins Ramos, and it is going to be Felix Vargas here for Lyon. Oh, just hit over the crossbar. Dom will be happy with that one, just to get that over the top of the crossbar, but plenty of good support here now for Fen Tigers, and they'll want to try and back that first performance with another win.
Yeah, they're going to be looking to get that second win on the board as well. You can't go wrong calling the roper on the court. Early opportunity for Fen Tigers there to capitalise with a penalty.
Well, Dom Roper has the ball in his hands. One moment this should be if it's going to be Dom to take this, but no, it's going to hand it over to his brother Dan. No surprises really there. Dan Roper wants to take control of this one. He is certainly up there with the top scorers, and he adds another one. That is his 9th of the day. His 9th in 2 games. Dan Roper.
It's not a bad account to have, 9 in 2 games, and you're only a minute into the second game.
Quiet, please.
Yeah, solid start for Dan Roper. Here comes Lyon's response, and it's a good one, and it's nearly an equaliser inside that first reply.
A very good attempt there. He's working across court at the moment, the last couple shots, just to see if they can open up that side. Dom's orientation looked like it was always going out there. He just needs to make a couple corrections to keep that up ball on the court. But great stop there by Dom.
Dan Roper switching sides. And a quick thinking response out from Martins Ramos. He sensed that Dan and Dom were switching simultaneously, and here comes Joe down the centre of the court. One is blocked.
Joe has a very good settling shot for the Fen Tigers. Whenever he's shooting, he just settles them down, and then if you leave Dan to it, he likes to play a very fast game.
To the effort there towards this near side of the court, Buelia, who we were very impressed with in his first performance. Buelia is just going to hand over responsibility to Felix Vargas, who really came out of the traps at the start of the second half in Lyon's first game.
Vargas is a very fast shooter, and he has like this skippy bounce that likes to annoy teams.
That one just...
Dom had that one covered, but it was tipping it toes around the bar.
Here is Felix Vargas again. That one's blocked by Joe Roper. Here is Dan Roper with the response. He's just standing right at centre, goes cross court towards this near side. That one's blocked. Buelia leans on top of the crossbar. Goes right back at Dan Roper. Roper gets his body in the way and blocks it.
It looks like Cavalier is looking to get back to his spot as quick as possible because he knows Fen Tigers like a fast return. So I think that was on his mind as well. That was a really good block there. He thought about the fast return, but he bailed out of that one.
And that one finds the back of the net. It goes right into the corner. Dom Roper goes to his right. The ball goes to his left. And it's one apiece.
Lyon were really looking to hit that line on Dom and hit his wing. The last couple shots, Dom had been blocking them around the post, but that time he just sank himself a bit closer into the net.
Out.
So Dan Roper going towards the right pocket as he goes back into his position on the far side of the court. And Tigers playing from right to left. Joe Roper makes the block and he scampers up quickly to go and claim the ball. Gives it to his brother Dom, who's throwing from the centre. That bounces into the path of Martins Ramos, and that one's going to be blocked out.
It's one thing Dom does very well is his bounce shot. He's known for having such a hard bounce and a high bounce, and it's a really good contrasting shot to have when you've got a player like Dan on the other side and Joe.
And that's going to be a ball over. Dom just couldn't quite
Quiet, please.
collect it on that occasion. So it is going to be Felix Vargas. Start, just goes slightly towards the right of centre. Joe Roper all over it and hands it over to his brother Dan. He lets one rip towards the right.
Joe does a great job getting that ball up. There's no faster centre. It might be the size of him that makes him look like he's moving so fast, but he's moving fast.
Yeah, he bounces around the court, Joe Roper. Blocks that one. Right down the middle of the court. Dom gets the encouragement from his brother Dan. Really digs that into the court, and it bounces and bobbles right into the path of Martins Ramos, who collects it the second attempt. And he's getting through a bit of work, is Martins Ramos. Dom smothers that one as that's cleared away.
I do feel for Ramos's hip. When he's defending the ball, he's jumping so high from the ground to meet the block. I just feel for that man's hip. I know how sore it can be.
Number 4 to defend.
Oh, it was a long ball. Was it a long ball?
More, please.
Well, penalty's been given, and I just want to clarify this, because I don't think it was a long ball, high ball penalty, because they've had the choice to pick Dom.
So it might be a noise penalty?
Potentially.
Dom's got to dig deep here.
Is it a delayed game? Or... Well, the result is there is a penalty which Dom saves. He guessed right.
Lyon wanted to take that and capitalise, but Dom proved him wrong. Sorry, and blocked that penalty. And he's going to take a lot of confidence from that. Dom is very much a confidence player. When he's getting going, it's hard to stop him.
Oh, and that one just tips the post. And he talked about that confidence.
And I'll tell you what, if that went the other way, it would have been right on cue.
So it's Felix Vargas on that far side of the corner, right back at Dom Roper. He's having to field a lot of work. So far, Dom Roper on the left side, near side of the court. So he's throwing from right to left. Dan Roper now is just going to set himself on this near side. Dummy run comes in from Joe, but it's right into the back of Leo, blocks it. He just takes a moment to pause, just under the crossbar, and really gives it a go down the centre of the court. Joe Roper is onto it like a flash as Dom Roper now standing slightly left of centre, goes towards that right pocket, and then it's smothered by Martins Ramos, so that one goes out of play. Roper now with the effort. That one skims across the surface. It runs along the goal line and goes in. Dan Roper puts Fen Tigers back into the lead. And that is 10 goals in the tournament now for Dan Roper. And 2 important goals in this first quarter. Brilliant. That one is blocked.
Very confident block there by Joe, getting that ball out. He just knew he had to get it.
Dan Roper with that effort. That one is wide of the mark.
Quiet, please. Play.
Felix Vargas. And that one goes wide, cross court.
It looks like the Fens bench is getting them ready for a substitution, checking their players' patches are right.
Quiet, please. Play.
That one goes down the far side, and Dan Roper, goodness me, nearly spins 360 degrees to clear that ball off the goal line. And there was just a split second of panic as that ball rolled towards the goal line, but he cleared it.
He cleared it and he just wanted to get the ball away. He didn't mind if the ball was going to go ball over.
That is blocked. Oh, but it goes off Dan Roper and into the back of the net. The ball just shooted up into the sky and then landed, and Dan Roper was facing his own goal. It hits him and goes in.
It's a hard one, like we said earlier in the tournament, when the ball goes up in the air, it's hard to hear it.
Nearly the perfect response though. That one was blocked, and Joe Roper mops up that one in the middle of the court.
Quiet, please.
Referees are just asking the crowd just to be a bit quieter.
So Lyon going from left to right. Final 5 minutes of the first half, and it takes all 3 of the Roper brothers to get right behind that one in the centre. Dan Roper now launches one towards the far side of the court.
Quiet, please. Play.
It's Vargas. It's it. Dan Roper takes a second. And a timeout has been called by Fen Tigers. Well, it's a bit of a contrast this for Fen Tigers and Lyon, where we've had lots of goals in the during the entirety of the game. Only 2-2 with just under 5 minutes remaining in the first.
And you still think that, I just feel like the goals are about to happen. You can't write both of these teams off. They've both got the firepower, but defensively they're showcasing their abilities at the moment. Joe Roper has been an anchor for the Fen Tigers team, and Ramos has been really strong in the middle for the Lyon team as well. I just worry about Ramos's energy that he's doing now, if he's gonna be able to carry on with the same level of energy. We know Joe Roper can, but I don't know if Ramos can.
Lyon have a smaller squad as well, only 4 players in the Lyon squad. Alexander Almeida is the only player who's on the team bench. As for Fen Tigers, they've got Dave Scott, Josh McKenty on the bench. And in fact, they're going to go to that team bench, and it's going to be the Big Mac, Josh McKenty from Roper, comes off the court.
It looks like Mac Attack's about to come on and put on a show like he loves to.
Yeah, he scored 3 in his first game. The Big Mac, as he's known.
I've never seen a man of his size be able to do the worm.
Yeah, and he really gave it the beans when he scored.
He's just prepping himself, ready to become the showman. We're about to hear the big woo as he comes onto the court. It's become one of his trademarks in the league.
And there's one of the few players I've certainly seen who has the helmet as well. Obviously a bit of a difference for people who are just joining the sport.
Yeah, there's a few players for medical reasons and such. There's that big woo. For Josh, he has to wear this helmet just to protect himself a little bit more. It's within the rules. It's an ice hockey helmet he wears, I believe.
Well, Josh McKenty is on.
Looks like we're having a bit of an eye check for Dan as well. Oh, goal judge was a little bit quick there to let the ball go in.
And now we're set. So we've got Dan Roper, Joe Roper, Josh McKenty all on the court. Here is Dan Roper. Sets himself, really lets it go. That rotation throw down the far side. That one's blocked. So in their maroon tops, Lyon. That's a really bouncing effort. Had some big airtime there.
Very big airtime on that one.
There we go. Josh McKenty slides that one towards the centre of the court.
Very nice slow rotation with a really smooth release. Man of his size and stature, he can really put that weight into the ball. And I say weight, the man's pure muscle.
Quiet, please. Take.
Yeah, you've got Dan and Josh McKenty either side of Joe Roper. Real contrast, but all three of them have a really unique skill set, as does this man, Lyon, who we were well impressed with in his first outing earlier on.
Seems a bit quieter in this second game at the moment. Vargas is playing quite the dominant position at the minute, but I can see him coming into the game a bit more.
Joe Roper makes that block right down the centre of the court.
Both teams are standing off a bit of a stalemate at the moment.
Look out.
Lyon. That one's blocked down that far side. Then Roper makes the block. Oh, and that one squeezes through, and Dan Roper has his third. It's 3-2.
It looked like Dan's movement there set him up, and he sent the centre the wrong way, and he was always downside of trying to recover himself there.
So, back into the lead, Fen Tigers, Josh McKenty. Well, he moved well. It's always entertaining watching the big back, and here he goes, Josh McKenty, right down the centre. That one's blocked, and then quick fire response from Martin Zidane. Joe Roper, he sprints up towards the halfway to collect that one, to prevent the ball over. They're going to have to be quick here, and Roper lets one go, and that's blocked by Felix Vargas in the right pocket area. Over on that far side of the court, and he throws towards Dan Roper on the far side. That's blocked.
Quiet, please. Take.
Looks like McKenty's going over to meet him. No, he's backed out of that one.
Look out.
That one is blocked out. Good effort, that's wide.
Quiet, please. Take.
Here's Josh McKenty. Goes down the middle of the court. Lyon, he just sets himself, really crouches under crossbar to get as much effort on that throw, and it's a good one as well. Well, we talked about him being a little bit quiet during this first half, but he's announced himself now, and it's 3-3.
You might have heard us from over here. We're not too far away, and he found that wing really nicely from that pocket shot. Sent McKenty a bit deep into the pocket, and then opened up the wing for him. McKenty looking at replying, but just wide.
going from this near side, from left to right. Final 2 minutes of this first half. It is 3-all. Nothing to separate the two sides. And what's turning out to be an enthralling game between the two teams. Group B. This is number 8. It's the final game of the second round of matches.
Quiet, please. Play.
So timeout has been called by Lyon. 1 minute 24 seconds on the clock.
It's a really close game between both teams at the moment. Anytime Josh has the ball, you kind of expect him to do something special with it. But I think that's just because of how much of a performer he can be. But the Lyon team are coping really well with the fast shots coming at them and the variety of shots. I'm really impressed with this Lyon team. But it's just, can they carry on going into the second half? That's where they came apart a little bit in their first game in that second half.
Quiet, please. Play.
Humming, making some noise, patting the court. And there is the roar from Josh McKenty as he makes that save, diving to his left.
Oh, that's a nice relief for there, Josh McKenty. So now he gets a full 10 seconds because it was an official timeout. The shot clock resets, so it gives Dan that opportunity to make that movement.
Dan Roper with that throw. 3 goals to his name. There's 11 goals so far in the tournament for Dan Roper. Final minute of the first half. Josh McKenty stands tall, ready to go. And places one towards the left pocket. It is going to be a ball over.
Then Tigers get the ball back, take this one again, set up the shot.
Quiet, please. Play.
Looks like Joe's moved back to give Dan the whole court.
Stamp from Joe Roper, and the finish from Dan, right into that right pocket, no mistake. Dan Roper puts Fen Tigers back in charge, 4-3.
Great movement there by Dan. He pulled Joe to the back to give him the full court, and then just exposed the centre, just making him try to guess what side to go. Question is now, can Fen Tigers keep the lead?
Look out.
A fascinating final 27 seconds to go. Lyon should bite back. And he's switched up, he's down that far side of the court now, aims it right at Dan Roper. Joe manages to locate the ball in time. Josh McKenty crashes into the crossbar, has a go. That one's blocked. Felix Vargas is now on the right side for Lyon. He tries to this near side. Josh McKenty uses his whole body to stretch across the near side of the goal. And now McKenty has a go, and that one's blocked. And that is half time. It is Lyon 3, Fen Tigers 4 in what has been a really topsy-turvy first half, but a very entertaining one.
Very entertaining, and Fen Tigers are just edging them out at the moment, especially Dan Roper having all 4 goals for Fen Tigers at the moment. Lyon are spreading the goals across the team a bit more. I can see Dan settling into that second half now. I don't know where to call this game.
It really is a tough one to call. So at half time, it is Fen Tigers at 4, Lyon 3. We'll be back with you in a few moments' time.
Second half between Lyon on my left, Fan Tiger on my right. Half-time score, Lyon 3, Fan Tiger 4. Half-time substitution, Lyon out number 1, in number 3. Fan Tiger out number 6, in number 9.
So substitutions at half-time for both sides. Caleb Leah is off. Alexander Almeida is on. Josh McKenty is off. And Dave Scott is into the action. So Lyon throwing from right to left. Fan Tigers from left to right. Fan Tigers in those orange shirts with the black claw marks going through the centre of the shirt, with Lyon in that maroon shirt throwing from right to left. And Dave Scott is going to have his first throw of the match. Dave Scott from that far side of the court going through the centre, and Martins Ramos makes that block, and it's going to be Alexander Almeida who's going to have his first throw. Right into the path of Dan Roper, who just takes a second, really goes back towards this near side of the court, throws it towards Almeida, and that one is also blocked. So just feeling each other out again at the start of this second half. Joe Roper, it's blocked and into the path of Dave Scott.
Confidently backed up there by Dave Scott there. Joe looked a little bit worried, but he was up on his feet as quick as possible there, just to back up Dave Scott, just in case.
Dave Scott right down the centre of the court. That one is into the path of Joe Roper. Up to his feet quickly. Dan Roper just taps the inside of this near post. He goes down this near side of line throw right into this near side of the court. So as you were after the opening minute, Fan Tigers lead 4-3. Dave Scott makes that block. Dave Scott now just takes a moment, just kicks the far post. Rotation throw that's off target.
He's settling into this one now. He just needs to figure out where his orientations for his shooting motions. He's one of the players that has the potential to have one of the best shots because of the length of him and his rotation there. He can just release that, just like Dan Roper. It's a tight rotation and he launches it like a discus on the ground.
Joe Roper smothering that one, gives it to Dave Scott just to the left of it, just right up to the high ball line and lets it go towards that right pocket.
Very smooth release there from
Dan Roper, right underneath the crossbar in the centre of his goal. Almost slings it towards this near side of the court. It goes wide.
Quiet, please. Hey.
Well, the first 2 minutes of this second half have flown by. Joe Roper just prods that away. Dave Scott goes down that far side. Quick response from Vargas. Joe Roper, no problem. And he chases after it and succeeds, and he sprints back towards the goal. He's over to his brother Dan. He's in the centre of the court and throws towards this near side. That one goes.
Fan Tigers do bring a lot of movements within the game. Joe is so confident in moving under eye shades under this court. It's just like he can actually see on there. He moves that well.
Dan Roper on this near side. Dan Roper goes cross court. To his number 9 counterpart, Dave Scott, on the far side. He stands up tall, leans back, goes for it.
Looks like he just over-rotated on that last one there to send that out. He'll fix it, but he's just getting the data now to know where he needs to go.
Quiet, please. Play.
Dan Roper, who just takes a second. Just at the crossbar, he goes cross court. That one sliding by was Almeida, but he manages to catch it as he went to his right, and Almeida switches up his angle of attack. He goes down that far side, that is out. So we're yet to have a goal in the second half after just 3 minutes. It's still 4-3 to Fan Tigers. We're waiting for this next breakthrough. It could be pivotal, this. Dave Scott. That one's saved.
I'm very impressed with this Lyon team in the second half so far. They're just showing defensively they're in this game still. Offensively, they just need to keep the ball on the court and keep threatening the players.
Sorry, Felix Vargas down that far side and made the throw.
Just got to rein that one in a bit. That was quite a little bit wide. Both teams are looking like they're struggling keeping the ball on the court at the moment. But that's never been a massive issue of Dan Roper's.
Conceded 12 in that first goal in the first game. Well, they've certainly kept it tighter defensively in this game against Fen Tigers.
Some would think that the shot power might not be as much, but the shot power has been there, so they've made their adjustments defensively, and it's paid off for them currently. I know they're only 1 goal down.
Joe Roper right in behind that one, and as I look across to the spectators area, lots of spectators leaning forward, so engrossed in the action as that one is pushed towards the centre. Martins Ramos, he is in between and goes down this near side. Roper makes doesn't let go of the ball as he thought he was going to unleash it, but he was just reined in there. Was Dan Roper.
Very good ability just to hold on to the ball there. I've been in that situation quite a few times where I've just released it, and it's hard to keep it in your hand, but very well done there for Dan. It looks like Emma wanted to talk about a bit of things now. We're in 7:41 left of the game, so we've had about 4.5 minutes of this second half with no goals. It's a little bit unlike this tournament at the moment. It looks like Emma is happy with the defensive ability, but just want to push on that offensiveness now and just stretch that lead out to 2 and gives them a bit of a cushion.
Quiet, please. Play.
So we're back underway. Oh, nearly. That was the fit for Fen Tigers. Quick response from Felix Vargas. 1-0 let up between the two sides. Joe Roper gets his body in the way, diving to his right, gets his body on the line.
Very strong stop there by Joe, pushing that out. You'd rather, when the ball goes straight in a straight line from the stop, it's a very good defensive stop.
Oh, and that squeezes through from Dan Roper. It means the world to him. He's in the air, he jumps up in delight, and it's 5-3, big goal.
It looks like that's what the bench wanted as well. It looks like Dan's executed that to perfection and hit the spots where he needed to do there. He's got 5. That's his 5th for this game so far.
Yeah, it certainly is. That puts him on to 13 goals, 2 clear of Lisa Mapreni, Elias Uni in the top score charts.
Goalball's very much a team sport, but you always want to be the top goal scorer of the tournament, especially when you're a sharpshooter. Oh, I heard a hooter there. Might be a 10-second penalty, or a high ball penalty actually. I think the player that tried to pass the ball out, it touched the floor with inside the court, so it's been classed as a high ball penalty.
Yeah, discussion between our 2 referees in the centre. We're just having a brief stoppage here, but that does give us a little bit of time to start to organise our player of the match, which a knife edge point of the game is quite a hard one to pick. I mean, Dan Roper, an obvious one, the 5 goals. Without him, they obviously wouldn't be in that lead, but Joe Roper's been impressive.
Joe's been very involved in everything, but it's hard to ignore Dan. I would say he's a bit of a lock for the Fen Tigers for man of the match. And Ramos has been very good in the centre for Lyon, or Vargas of shooting ability as well.
Yeah, definitely between those two. I'd agree with you on that.
Looks like the discussion's still going on. What the call is. The players are maybe leaving the court for Lyon?
Quiet, please.
No.
Hey.
So no call on that, no penalty.
So as you were, 5-3 then. After what felt like a very lengthy stoppage there, we're about back underway. Dave Scott, he goes for it down that far side. That one's blocked.
Sounds like the Lyon team are trying to will each other on to get back into this game now as well.
Dave Scott makes no mistake, clings onto the ball. Dan Roper, what a difference he has made in the offensive part of the game, and he's trying to get a sixth of the match.
Look out.
Dave Scott stretches for that one, uses his long reach to push that round the post.
Quiet, please.
That's one part about David Scott's game. He's got very strong legs to push that ball out.
Felix Vargas, quick response. Joe Roper in behind it. Joe Roper scampers back to the goal, and Roper gives it another go towards that right pocket, and Almeida just takes his time and now will unleash one. Goes down the centre. Joe Roper uses his legs to block that in the middle of the court. Dave Scott, he has a go. Oh, and that one ends up into the back of the net. Dave Scott, he has a goal now, and there is breathing room now.
He wanted to join the party with Dan. He didn't want to let Dan have all the fun. So it looks like Dave Scott wanted that goal, and he came across court beautifully.
But it's a great response, and it's Felix Vargas. That is just the perfect response.
A very fast response across the court, across Joe there, and all Joe could do was try to push her over the bar, but unfortunately it stayed within the court.
So we're going to go for the player of the match options as Dan Roper and Felix Vargas.
I think Vargas has to be a lock for the Lyon team. He's got the firepower to bring them back into the game, and he's the player willing the Lyon team on to bring everyone back.
So those are the two options for player of the match. Get voting. Dan Roper for Fen Tigers, Felix Vargas for Lyon. And just when you thought, as like quite a lot of these games have, there's been moments where you think that they're just suddenly going to break away a team and then they've just been reeled in. But it isn't 6-4, 2 goals in it, another goal now for Lyon. And really, we're back to square one again.
We're back to square one, back to a two-goal gap. I think Fen are happy with the 2-goal gap, but they want to try to extend this lead, as David Scott was trying to do there down the line.
So substitution here for Lyon. Barilla has just had a chance to recharge the batteries, and Martins Ramos comes off.
Is that Vargas looking like he's moving into the middle now?
Yeah, it is, yeah. Felix Vargas standing in the centre with Almeida on the left. And Barilla on the right.
Sounds like the Fen Tigers bench don't really know what the lineup could be. It looks like Gray is coming onto the wing.
So Vargas slightly right of centre, goes down the middle, and that's blocked by Joe. Dan Roper down the middle. That's also saved. Quick check here, and first bit of mopping. The mops come out.
It looks like the Fen Tigers want a bit of a mop as well. I mean, they're known as one of the sweatier teams in goal. I think the Roper brothers do perspire quite a bit.
Dan Roper's even offering an apology there.
We all know he's not sorry.
So just over 5 minutes to go. Dave Scott was wide.
Quiet, please.
And you can see Dan is relaxed in this game. He was even talking to the goal official there just to lighten the mood on the game a bit for himself. Joe with a really strong block out there. Dan did have him covered behind as well.
Dan Roper just to the left of the centre, like Joe, and goes towards that far side of the court.
Quiet, please.
Looks like they're going to be testing Buccareo now.
Joe Roper meets that one right in the middle of his goal, and Dave Scott now will take over responsibility down the far side. Tries to drill it into that far right corner of the goal. That's blocked by Bouillier. Bouillier just sits himself, takes a moment to pause, and then goes. Joe Roper scampers towards the middle of the court to collect that one, hands it over to Dan Roper.
Nearly went a little bit too far there, but he has to just be careful, as if you do run into the goal with the ball and the ball goes over the line, it can be an own goal.
Dave Scott makes that important save.
I think Joe Roper would definitely win the step count of the day when it comes down to players.
So Kada Bouillier is going to take this one now. Just sets, engages down that far side.
Sound like David Scott felt that one.
So 6-4, it's one of the closest games we've had as we come into the latter stages.
And to think we're only up to 10 goals in this game so far.
We've had a lot of goals during our first day here at the EGCA Champions League. Dave Scott with the effort, that goes wide. Well, I think the term, the next goal is key, is probably the perfect time to use this one now.
I think it will be.
Dan Roper, that one just fizzes and skids across the court, but he's back in position. Quickly, Dan Roper towards this near side of the court.
Quiet, please.
He's one of those players that sometimes it looks like his body's moving faster than you actually think he is. But he understands his angles very well, Dan.
Bent his run quickly to get back to position, but Lyon score the next goal, and it's now 6-5, piercing through that right pocket, and now just a sense of a little flutter of nerves just kicking in. It's one goal in it. It is Ben Tigers 6, Lyon 5. Can Lyon use that momentum now to get them to all square? Dan Roper can get the next goal. He can't on this occasion.
And it was our man from Lyon, Cavalier, who's come on to the game just to give them that extra firepower on the court as well. And it looks like now all the three players on the Lyon team are capable of letting that ball go and able to shoot from every single spot, which is a hard thing to defend now against.
So timeout called by Fen Tigers. It could be an important timeout this for Fen Tigers. Just to regroup, there was a potential moment in the game where they could have almost sort of really clicked into more gears and gone further ahead, but they've been brought back, one goal in it, 2 minutes 18 to go. Try and guess where this game's going.
I wouldn't like to guess, and it's Lyon's adjustments that defensively that they've been able to do. They've swapped out their centre and put Vargas in the middle, which can be a risky move because he was one of their main shooters, but it's paying off for them at the moment. But it's how can Fen Tigers react to the adjustments now as well? Can they adjust to the adjustments?
Dan Roper on that far side. That one's right into the path. Phoenix Vargas. Vargas sets himself every second now, proving crucial. Dave Scott. He has a go. Oh, and it hits the post and goes wide.
The crowd willing Fen Tigers on to get that goal in, get that ball into the goal. Every block becomes really important now.
Important save from Dave Scott. That would have been a venom to it. Felix Vargas right in behind that one.
Quiet, please. Hey.
Vargas. Oh, it squeezes through. It's 6-6. Brilliant response this from Lyon.
Joe didn't look like he was too happy on that, hitting the goal there. I think he was a bit disappointed with how that last one went. It flicked over his hands and sent it into the back of the net.
Well, it is 6-6. This is the closest the game has been with 90 seconds remaining. Hang on to your hats, everyone. This could be one of the closest enthralling finishes to a group game we're going to have so far in the EGCA, or maybe even in total today.
I think it is now that we're going to see some very tactical play coming into it. Both teams have timeouts to use, both teams have substitutions to use. We're going to start seeing that coming into play. One, to conserve the clock, and two, to figure out who's going to be setting up the shot.
That one goes wide. Dave Scott. Big for that to go. Dave Scott now. Goes towards his line counterpart Vargas. Oh, and Vargas finds the back of the net. And from being down in this game 6-4, it was 6-3, but it is now 7-6. What a turnaround.
Massive turnaround there for this Lyon team. That adjustment that they made, putting Vargas in the middle, like we said earlier, has really paid off right now.
Well, as soon as Felix Vargas planted that into the back of net, the turnaround in the player of the match vote has completely shifted. And Joe Roper, important block there. And Dave Scott is going to come off here. Josh McKenty is going to come on. He finds something big here for Fen Tigers.
The substitution here is now to give, it looks like it's to give Dan that time just to set up what he needs in his head to get this game back level. Just re-watching that return from Vargas, such a return.
Lovely pickup, great pace, good precision. And Lyon now lead by 7-6. And they're in a really good position now, moving into this final 50 seconds. Every throw critical. Here's Dan Roper. Blocked. And it's picked up by Vargas.
A very vital block there by the Lyon team. They're looking at now, extending the clock.
Well, our player of the match, Pendulum. Dan Roper was 80%, it's now nearly 50-50. Here is Josh McKenty, big throw from him. 30 seconds remaining. Timeout call by Lyon.
Looks like Lyon are looking to extend this lead somehow. They're setting up a shot. I wouldn't be surprised if it's their big fella number one going to be taking this shot. He's a very good dead ball specialist to look at what I've seen so far in this tournament.
Well, Felix Vargas has just edged into the lead of our player of the match after being 80% to 20 in favour of Dan. It is now Felix Vargas, and I have to say, I think we're both in agreement how impressive Felix Vargas has. Certainly in this last quarter of the game, he's been outstanding.
Very impressive. He's taken the game by the horns and just come back into this game and dragged his team through it.
Big moments. A goal here for Lyon would all seal it. Joe Roper makes that big save. Another timeout follows.
It looked like Vargas wanted to be the man on this one, but he sent it straight down the middle, which is not what you really want to be doing out of a timeout. It's given Fen Tigers now not long off the clock, and they've got a timeout to set up this shot with nearly a full 10-second shot clock.
So important moments now. 23.4 seconds remain. It is Fen Tigers 6, Lyon 7. What a turnaround this has been from the French outfit. They made their international debut in 2021, 4 times champions of France in both the men's and women's. And a chance to get a win here. That tips off the crossbar. That throw, and it's blocked out in the end. It's saved as the crowd went up in unison.
But unfortunately now that gives Lyon a full 10 seconds to use on the clock. And they're using every second of it.
He certainly does, Lyon. That one is blocked. Well, Daniel Bettis was very quick to that realisation of a substitution here, because this is now last throw for Fen Tigers. 6 seconds remaining.
These are the moments you want to be in as an athlete. 6 seconds on the clock. Can you make something happen? We all know who's going to be the man taking the shot. It's just where and how and if. They're all the questions that Dan hasn't going on in his head right now, but he has to focus in and take that one last shot.
The current top scorer of the Champions League today. Can he produce a magical moment? Dan Roper, that's blocked. And that is game. And that is a win for Lyon. What an incredible final quarter of the match. Fen Tigers in a position of strength. And Lyon had turned this around. They were 6-3, 6-4 down. And they've won it by 7 goals to 6. Quite incredible.
That really shakes up the second group of teams, I think. That puts Fen Tigers aren't going to be happy with that loss. I don't think any team will ever be happy with a loss. But the Lyon team came into that game so well, and they had a plan.
Well, the player of the match vote has now been completed, and we do have a victor. It is Dan Roper, who is the player of the match. I think that equally could have been given to Felix Vargas as well. 2 brilliant individual performances, but Dan Roper just nips it.
Yeah, Vargas played a really great second half there. He really led that team into that win, and I think he was 3 out of the 4 goals to bring that team into that winning position, and they really capitalised from that. They're going to take confidence now going into their last game of today.
Well, absolutely, and there are wins now for Brussels, Fen Tigers and Lyon. And as you quite rightly mentioned there now, that really does shake up Group B nicely and sets up those final round of games well. Well, we're going to go back and switch back to Group A. And it is going to be Northern All-Stars against Old Power. That's coming up next.